Okay, in this video we're going to go ahead and dive into setting up your ad campaigns. I'm going to start with sort of the basic one that everybody's used to seeing, and that is an image ad. Okay, just so we're clear, when I talk about image ad, it's basically where you basically have an image, it's some text, and there's no like a button or a call to action, that type of thing. This is really going to be for just kind of like your standard, Friday, Saturday night gigs where you're just trying to get people to the show. You could choose whether or not you want to run the ad only to people who follow your page if you have a pretty good following, or you could do you could do it to people that follow your page, and then maybe friends of fans. I can show you how to set that up. This is really not my favorite kind of ad, but if you don't, really I prefer video. But if you don't have a good promotional video, or like in the case with us, for a while we only had the one promotional video, and I felt like we were running it too much. And so until we had a new video created, I started trying to mix it up to where people were seeing different things in the news feed. And so had our promotional photos. I would use a couple different ones, and I tried a few different things. So I'll give you some ideas of some different image ads that you can do. Okay, so let's go here to the ads manager, and you're going to hit in the campaigns tab, go ahead and click create. Now, the first thing that you're going to do right out of the gate is you're going to have to choose your objective. And this can be a little kind of like confusing when you first come in. You're like, man, really, there's all these choices. But if you want to know what each one of these means, there's a little, you can hover over this little I button here, and you get an idea of what it is that they're looking for. So as far as, you could do an awareness campaign, and what it is it's basically the Facebook algorithm. It will show your ads. The ads will show up in the newsfeed, but it's as far as the types of people that they show it to. As I understand it, it will show your ads based on your objective. Like with brand awareness, increase awareness for your brand by reaching people who are more likely to be interested in it. So what that basically tells me is that the algorithm, if you chose a brand awareness campaign, it's going to show it. It's going to figure out that you're a band, that you're promoting, by the verbiage that, of course, that you use in your ad, and that it knows. Facebook's algorithm knows that you're a band by looking at by knowing what your page is about, that kind of thing, and it's going to show your ads to people who are into music, that are maybe they go out on Friday, Saturday nights and watch bands. So it's going to show your ad to those types of people. So a brand awareness campaign could be a good one. Now, if you just want to show it to everybody, you could do a reach campaign. So show your ad to the maximum number of people, just in general. So it's all about reach. It's reaching the maximum number of people. And of course, as we go into to the ad set area, which I'll show you here in just a second, that's where you can refine the types of people that you show to. So if you want to show to people only between the ages of 21 to 35, you could do that, and you could refine it for some reason if you wanted to show it to only men or women, or people that have, you can be very selective about who you show your ads to, and it will show you to the maximum number of those people. Now, when you start getting into this column, it's a little bit more focused. So like with traffic. So in this case, you were going to send people to a destination on or off Facebook, such as a website, app, or messenger conversation. So for the purpose of doing an image ad, for just getting people interested in coming out to your usual Friday, Saturday night bar gig, this is something where I would not use a traffic, unless you're going to send them to a landing page. Maybe you have a page on your website that has a little bit more description about that gig, and if you want to get traffic to your website, that's totally cool. You could put a call to action button where it just clicks and it goes to your website. If you want to do that, you could certainly do that. Engagement. Now, this might be something you want to consider. Get more post engagements, page likes, event responses, or offer claims. Well, so say you run the image ad to get more post engagements. In other words, you just want people to make comments, or they want people to share your post. What the algorithm's going to do, and if you don't have a call to action button in it to go off to your website like you would with the traffic campaign, Um, with engagement, what that's going to do is that's going to show it's going to show your ad to people who are more, they're people who typically like things, they typically share, they typically comment. Because there's certain people that I guess that they'll scroll through the newsfeed and they really just don't comment on much, they don't like much or whatever. And what you're telling Facebook is, you know, avoid those people and instead show my ad to people who are more likely to engage with it. Um, so take that for what it's worth. Obviously, video views wouldn't pertain in this situation. And of course, lead generation, we'll get into that. That's more for other types of ads that we're going to show later in the course. So for right now, let's just say that you are wanting to do, let's go with an engagement campaign. So we want people to like, share, and comment on our ad. So we're going to choose an engagement campaign, and then it allows you to even, what are you more interested in? Are you more interested in getting page likes, or you're interested in getting post engagement? So for the purposes of this, let's say that we want to get more post engagement, meaning that we want people to like the ad, we want people to like, to comment or share the ad with their friends. And one thing that would be important to know is that you really do want people to share your ads, obviously, because when people share it and they share it to their friends, like, hey, this band looks cool, or this event looks cool, let's go, and they want to share it with their friends. Anytime you share, or a person shares your ad with their friends and their friends click on your ad, you don't get charged for the click. So I think the average person has like 330 Facebook friends. So the more your ad gets shared, I mean, that's, it has a viral component to it. I mean, that's basically free advertising for your band. So that's pretty freaking awesome. So you really want your ads to get shared. So that really, I mean, if you're that, again, I think with video it works a lot better. But if you have good copy, and if you make your event sound fun, sound entertaining, if you have a really cool looking band photo, you really could get people to share it. So okay, so let's go ahead, and we're just going to leave it at post engagement. Page likes we'll do later. We're going to do a like campaign, and I'll show you how to get more likes on your page. So with a campaign name, I usually just, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and set this up for, I like to talk about the venue. So I'm going to go ahead and actually set this up for real for a gig that we have coming up this Friday. So I'm going to say, I always start with the name of the venue. I like to keep the naming convention. Naming convention would be the proper terminology. Keep it the same as much as possible. So I'm gonna say buckets, and I'm just gonna say image ad, and I usually put the date of the gig, which in this case is 6/7/19. Buckets is the name of the venue, by the way. Not sure if I said that. Okay, so then what I usually like to do is I like to just copy that, because it's going to ask you when you go set up the ad set and the actual ad. It's going to you have to name all of them, which can be a little annoying. Now, so I go ahead and I'm going to paste that into the ad set name, and then now if we're going to keep this pretty simple. But with the ad set, the ad set is basically where we, let me pull up this a little bit more, is where we choose the demographics and everything of the people that we want to advertise to, and some other things. We'll set our budget, those kinds of things. So, but really, if you're going to change the name on this, it's going to be to specify, like if you can set up multiple ad sets within the same campaign. Why would you want to do that? So say you might want to run the same ad to different groups. A common way to do that would be to run the ad to people who are just fans of your page, and then you could run the same ad to people who are friends of fans of your page, and you would do that in separate ad sets. And so, like in that case, in fact, I'll go ahead and set up something like that. So I'm gonna do fans. So we're gonna set up this ad set to do just people who are fans of our page, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to create a second ad set to do friends of fans, and keep these separated. So that's why you'd want to do that. So okay, so let's dive into how to set up the demographics and everything, the people we want to show this ad to. Well, the first thing that I want to do is I want to run it within a proximity of the venue. So I need to get the venue's address, which is in Goldstein, Florida. Okay, so now it defaulted to 10-mile radius. A lot of times it depends on the venue. This is an area where we haven't played very much. It's well over an hour north of our hometown, so we don't have a really big following up there. So I'm going to keep it a little tighter. Like usually I would do a 50 or a 25-mile radius for our hometown because people will travel to watch us. But I don't think we're going to have that situation here. So I'm just gonna go like 15-mile radius, and then now the age group. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do with our fans. I'm gonna say people who like the page. You got to tell them which page. So there we are, and I'm just gonna leave it almost wide open. I'm gonna go 21 and over. Now normally you'll see when I set up the friends of fans. Our fans are usually around 35 and over. We have an older demographic. The reason that I would go 21 and over to people who like our page is because if they like our page and they happen to be a little bit younger, I want them to know about our show. Again, chances that we don't have a lot of real younger fans just because we play older music. But I hope that makes sense. So basically, you always want it to be age 21 and over because most of the time when you're playing, I just think it as a practice, it's best to do for ads because Facebook, if you leave it 18 and over, you may get a message back from Facebook ads saying, hey, we're have to pull your ad for for approval because it's going to minors. It's just more hassle than it's worth. So that's why I always go 21 and over, and I don't have those types of messages. So okay, so now I'm just running the ads to people who like our page. So I'm not going to add any additional demographics or interests. I'll show you how to do that a little bit later in the course. And I'm not going to do like a lookalike audience or a custom audience like what we set up because I'm just running ads to our people who like our page. So I know that they're already our fans. Okay, now on the placements, I really don't know. I don't like that Facebook does it this way because a lot of times I forget. When I talk about placements, is where do you want the ad to be placed? Do you want it to be in all of these things? Because when you run ads by default, it's going to run in the Facebook news feed, but it's also going to run in all these different areas. And if you just hold your mouse over each one, it will show you what does this mean. If you're not really sure what is an in-stream video ad? Oh, okay, those types of things. It's also going to show in the Instagram news feed. It's going to show in Instagram stories, and then an audience network. The audience network is that's kind of like ads that show up in websites and stuff that actually pay to have Facebook. No, they don't pay. Facebook pays them to run ads on their websites. Usually with the audience network, we don't get like it says, it's Hearst, Time, the Huffington Post, Vice, a lot of these popular websites. We don't really get a lot of great play from these, so you might want to uncheck that. Sometimes you'll have people that will say, "Hey, I was playing a certain game." There's people that play games on Facebook. I don't personally, but a lot of people do. And I saw your ad for your band on my game. Which they're telling me, so they might actually see it. So it's just something to experiment with. I really wouldn't worry myself over it too much. Where the placements can kind of get annoying, if anything, is when you start running video ads. Video ads have very specific sizes and stuff, and they need to be different for Facebook versus Instagram and other platforms, especially like the Facebook and Instagram stories. So basically, when you upload a video, you have to upload different sizes and different configurations, and it gets just sort of annoying to have to do it all, especially if you're only spending like 20 bucks or something on your entire campaign. It's a lot of trouble to go to set that all up. So anyway, so that's what's going on with the placements. I'm just gonna, for our purposes, I'm just gonna leave them as is, because an image ad usually should show pretty much across the board, and it will give us a warning on the next page if we have certain placements that our image is not going to work. So we'll just kind of let that go. As far as like showing it on different devices and all this, I just don't mess with this stuff. Um, you know, and you can look a little bit deeper in here if you want to, but usually I don't really feel like this stuff is all that big of a deal. Okay, so now into budget and schedule. So what I would always do, it's pretty rare that I would ever run an ad where you're basically just letting it run. Just every single day you're spending $5 a day or something like that. You can certainly do that, like if you're trying to run up likes to your page and you have a budget to work with and you just want people to just keep liking your page over and over. You would want to run just a daily, just a few bucks a day or something. But with gigs, of course, you have a certain day that the gig is on, so you would want to start it and then you would want to end it the day of the gig. So what I usually do is, we're playing Friday night, and I usually run it to about an hour into the gig. We start at 8. I figure we'll just let the ad run until 9. That way, if somebody's looking for something to do that Friday night, we could do that. Now, because I'm taking a while to film this video, it's going to say, hey, your start date is in the past, so I'm gonna just go ahead and put some more time on it, because otherwise it gives me a weird error. I usually just keep this run ads all the time. If you wanted to run ads on only certain days of the week or times of the day, that kind of thing, again, not a big deal. I don't really worry about it. Okay, optimization for ad delivery. We can either optimize it for impressions, to show the ads to as many people as times as possible, or deliver the ads to the right people to help you get more likes and shares and comments. That's really our goal. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Oh, big one. Don't want to forget to change this. We don't want to change you. If I would have left this at $350, obviously I'm not going to spend that for a bar gig. I'm just going to do, for our purposes, with this particular ad set, I'm only going to do $10. It defaults when it usually defaults to like a 30-day window. So you want to change. We're not playing. We're playing on June 7th. So that's our date. And then usually with these ads, I start running ads around, if we play on Friday night, I probably won't start the ad until Tuesday. Because I'm just of the persuasion that most people don't really make a decision on where they're going to go for the night. If it's just a simple bar gig, they're deciding whether they want to go out on a Friday or Saturday night. They're really not making that decision until, maybe midweek. So, kind of a rule of thumb would be start the ad on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, and then for like if you're doing a Saturday show, I would do it on the Wednesday before. So that's why, you could do a lifetime budget of just $10, and it's just going to go over a few days. Okay, so let's go ahead and click continue. And this is where we're going to actually set up our ad. So I'm going to come up here and change the name again. I'm going to paste that in. Oop. That's not it. Okay, so let's go ahead and click continue. Okay, and this is where we're going to actually go to set up our ad. So under ad name, let's go ahead and change that back. I'm just going to paste that in there like I did before. And now if this doesn't look like this, it may say use existing post instead of create ad. We want to be in the create ad area. You can do a thing where if you have an existing post on your page, it'll allow you to come in here and select that post and and promote it. But for our intents, we're going to go ahead and just create an ad. And I'd say, and it's going to ask about connecting your Instagram account. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we're going to set up a single image ad. You can actually do a video ad here too, but I prefer to do that in the video views campaign. So we're going to do an image. And let's go ahead and add that image by clicking on Add Media, Add Image, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to upload an image. And I'll go ahead and show you how to set up an image in Canva that'll look pretty cool. Okay, pretty much anytime that I'm messing with anything that has an image, I like to use Canva.com to do it. Canva has they have a free version. You can take a look at what the different uh, features are for their different versions. I have the pro version, but you can take a look here. Basically, the main difference is the magic resize of your designs, which is a nice feature. But you can read the difference. But I am going to be using the pro version for this demo. And so the thing that's really cool is they have, usually looking up the dimensions that you're supposed to do different things in can be kind of a pain. So I like the fact that you could just come in here, create design, just click on that, and it already has the dimensions preloaded, which is pretty freaking cool. So, so what it allows you to do, I always like to have, an image of the band. It's always a good idea. You can click on uploads over here, and this is a cool live shot that we have. This is actually a screen capture from one of our videos. There's a good shot of our horn section. So there's a number of different ways that I could go with this, or I could do the promotional photo of the band and maybe bring the logo in. Now, the thing you need to be careful with when you're doing Facebook ads is not putting too much text. That is one thing that Facebook has got kind of, they're going to give you a hard time about is not having more than 20% text. So 20% of the total area of the image can't be text. So you might want to, that's where, and logos sometimes are considered text. It depends on how you look at it. But I'm just going to go ahead and use this image here. It's a little grainy because it is, again, just a screen capture from a video. But keep it in mind that most people view videos, or they view Facebook on their phones. That's where most of your traffic is going to come from on Facebook, way more than the desktop version. So even though I'm going to blow this up kind of big and it's going to get grainy, on a phone it'll probably look just fine, and that's the majority of the views that we're going to get. But I like this shot just because it has the crowd down here. It shows that we have a lot of people there. It's going to be, it looks exciting. And I'm going to leave myself some room up here to put some text, because as a standard rule, even though Facebook only wants you to have 20% text, you really should use that in there, because if you have a nice big bold bit of text up here at the top, it's going to capture people's eyeballs. So for that, you would just kind of come up here to click on text, and then you could use one of their templates down here, but those aren't really suited to what we're doing. So mainly I just use this add a heading thing. Then you can just click and drag. Again, I just love it because it's so easy to use. And I'll probably just change this font to something that's a little bit more, a little cooler looking. Maybe pick something over here. And then on the font color, I can double click that and just go up here. I'll probably just make that white because we've got a white background, or I got a dark background that I could work with. And I'll make that, and it's kind of hard knowing if that's 20% or not. There is a tool that I'll show you how to use, that Facebook actually provides to test your images to see if you have more than 20% text. But for now, I'm just going to I'll do something like live Friday night. Okay, even though this font looks kind of cool, I think I'm not going to use that, mainly because it's more important that people be able to read what you put up there, rather than it looks cool. So don't make that mistake. Let's try that one. That's maybe kind of okay. So maybe not the best thing, but just for our sake, I'm gonna do that, and then just want to make sure that it's centered, so it'll give you a nice little center line that you can work with. Now, as far as the copy goes, it's debatable. See, this image looks a little bit more like a live rock show, right? And so, but this particular venue that we're going to, that's kind of the vibe. It's a little bit more of a rock club, and so that's why I'm just choosing to go this route. Although a lot of times you'll see with other ads that I do, I focus a lot more on the dance aspect. But I'm going to go ahead and stick with this. Now, we're not a rock band. I'm not going to, in the copy of the ad, I'm not going to talk about, hey, we're going to come rock, we're not going to do that. It's still going to talk about dancing. But, I could choose to do something that mentions, come dance your ass off or whatever. And sometimes I'll use that type of copy. It just kind of depends on the venue that we're going into. And really all I have to do after this is just go ahead and just click download. And I'll stick with the PNG format. You can do different types of formats, but there's really no reason to do that. I would just, just stick with their dimensions and their suggested type. Save that to your hard drive. Okay, so now we're going to come back over here and just add the image. So one other cool thing that I want to point out is that you can also do, if you go, it says create media. You can actually create a slideshow. Now, I've done these before, trying different things. It's a little bit more advanced, and you've probably seen these in the news feed before. They'll, they're really meant a little bit more for like e-commerce, for products, that type of thing. But I've tested these with doing like different images, different things. But it just looks a little different coming through the news feed. But that's something you can experiment with using and you can actually do it with video as well. It's pretty cool. So, but again, for our purposes today, we're just going to be doing add image, and then I'm going to upload the image that we just created, and I'm going to do that. Let's see. So I named it something I could, I just named it by the venue, and let it upload. Okay. One big thing that we need to do though is we need to check our image size or our text in the image to see if it's too much. So to do that, the best thing, easiest thing to do really just be to go to Google and type in Facebook text ad checker. It comes right up. The text overlay tool. Just click on that, and then you can upload the image that we just created and check it. Image text, okay, your ad will run normally. So there we go. So we're good to go. And then we just hit continue. Now you could use a different image for Instagram. Again, that's you could even test a different image, but again, that stuff's a lot more advanced. So I would just kind of stick with this. And if you want to see how it looks in the different, it gives you an ad preview. Like if you want to see how it looks desktop, it looks like that. In the mobile news feed, it would look like this. So you can look at different things. But okay, so now we need to add our text. And when I do that, I like to add emojis. Because emojis, they're a little corny, but they do, grab attention. So the easiest way to do an emoji is to go to Facebook and then to start using the Emoji Tool. So like if you go in to create a post and you just click on the emoji. It's running a little slow. I like using this fire one right here. And what you can do is you can just copy that, and let's go back to our ads manager, and I start it with the fire icon. Actually, I've decided I'm gonna paste some copy in here that I had from before, and I like this. It's a little edgy. It's basically dance your ass off, and if you love to dance, get on down to Buckets Grill and Tap this Saturday. I'll have to change the date on that. Okay, so I changed the date to Friday, this Friday, 6/7. It's important to put the date in there because even though it says this Friday, sometimes people are just what I've noticed with people on Facebook is they're not observant. They'll say you'll get questions like, is this for this past Friday or is it next Friday? That you have to specify what the actual date is. And with this particular venue, this is a little odd in that it says call. They actually do reserve tables, and they only have a certain number of tables in the venue. Actually, not that many, and that's with the bar. That's usually not the case, but they actually do reserve tables. So I do like to put their phone number in there, and and they of course they like to see that, and but one of the big things that I want to point out is with ads. Again, it's all about what's in it for me. So you know, it's not really about your band. It's about dancing. This at least that's the way that our band looks at things. Especially in a bar type of setting, people are. I mean, there will be certainly people that'll sit there at the tables and they'll watch the band and they'll just enjoy listening to the music. They'll hang out, have a few drinks, but really, the people that are going to get excited about this and want to come out and most of the time are people that are interested in dancing, and of course the old thing of if the women dance, then the men will show up too because they want to be where the ladies are. So so we go ahead and we sell them on that. So come on down and get to the funky sounds of Earth, Wind and Fire, James Brown, Jackson 5, Rick James, Prince, so on and so forth. So and I am also going to say, I believe that the show starts at 8 p.m. So again, it's important to get these details right. And then the one last thing that we would want to make sure we put in here is the address of the venue, because inevitably people, again, they won't look it up themselves. You need to have it in your ad. Okay, so I put that address in there. And again, just looking at the copy, it's about selling, what's in it for them. And we do put a little, feather in our cap. We do have 4 Grammy nominated performers in our band. Um, you know, and I probably would want to mention the horn section too. So I'll put some verbiage in there like that. So I put Reverend Barry and the Funkern, 8-piece band featuring 4 Grammy-nominated performers and a super tight 3-piece horn section. Because again, the horn section is a big appeal, and you can't really see it in the ad. So again, I don't normally use image ads anymore. I like to use video ads. But the reason I'm showing you this, if you don't have a great promotional video, or you've been using your promotional video a little too much, and you want to switch things up, then you could go ahead and use an image ad. So that's really the reason I'm doing this, is just to show you how to do it. Okay, so after this, now you could take a quick look, and you can scroll through these to see how they look in various formats. This stuff, like the call to action button, we're not really. You could do that if you wanted to learn more, and you want to send people to your website, or if you want to send people to a page on your website that you've set up. You're certainly welcome to do that. I would just, at this point, I'm just wanting to get engagement on the ad itself. I've got the details in here, but definitely if there's if the venue, if they're selling tickets or something to that nature, you absolutely would want to send the traffic. Because otherwise people are going to ask, how do I get tickets, that kind of thing. So you want to make it obvious in there. So so there you go. I think that pretty much, our ad's pretty much done. And then, we'll go ahead and we'll just click confirm. Now, what happens when you click confirm is, if you have any errors, Facebook will usually tell you. But what's going to happen is it's going to go into a queue. It used to be they would approve it pretty quickly, but I have seen ads. Sometimes it will take. I mean, it's early morning right now. It could take until this evening before the ad actually comes out of review and is approved by Facebook. And that's just the way it is. There's really no way to speed the process. Okay, so the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and run a secondary ad set, and I'm going to run the same ad to friends of fans. Now the way that I want to do that is I'm going to go I'm going to click the campaign, and then I'm going to click the ad sets tab, so it just brings up the one ad set that we already set up in this campaign. And then I'm going to click that, and I'm going to click duplicate. And yes, we want to duplicate within the original campaign, and we just want to set up one duplicate. And so what we'll want to do is, so here's the duplicate up here at the top. Here's the original. We don't want to modify the original. We're just going to modify the ad set. I'm going to call this FOF for friends of fans, and that's, again, it's just going to show our ad to people who are friends of people who are like our page. Now, the reason we want to do that is because when the ad comes through on their friends, it's going to say something like, you know, above the ad, it'll say Bob Smith likes Reverend Barry and the Funk, or, you know, whoever likes Reverend Barry and the Funk. So it's sort of a form of social proof that, you know, they have a friend who likes our band. And so we usually get a pretty decent response from friends of fans. So the way you do that is you just, instead of people who like your page, it's friends of people who like your page. And really, that's the only change that we're going to make. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So then we can just come in here and hit publish. I usually wait for a minute before I switch. You'll notice up here it says 67%. So it says multiple items published. Okay, we're all good. And we click close. So now we have the original, we have the fans, and we have the friends of fans. One last thing, I'm not going to run an ad. I'll do it for example's sake, but we can go ahead. Let's go ahead and set up another ad set that's going to run to people that we just sort of pick at random. Not pick at random, but we're gonna do a demographics thing. So let me show you how that would work. So I'm going to go ahead and just duplicate this ad set. Again, we're going to create another ad set. And I'm going to call this, we'll call this music fans. And what I mean by that is we're going to come in here and we're going to look up some people that might be interested in our type of music. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this criteria of the friends of the people who like our page or don't like our page. And then we're going to mess around in here. Now before I do that, I'm going to change the age range. Remember I had said before that our age range is usually about 35 and up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look for people who are into the type of music that we play. So usually what I do is I'll come in here and I'll just start typing. Okay, so I'm gonna go. I'll type in something like James Brown, because we play some James Brown. Now what we can do is we can click the suggestions button, and it works pretty well. So you know, since we have James Brown up here, it'll give us suggestions of people that we might, or other bands that we might want to go after. So soul music is certainly much more general. Here's Earth, Wind and Fire, and then as we start choosing them, it'll just start popping up different ones. Play some Chic, Stevie Wonder, Motown, Prince, certainly, you know, Tina Turner, and so on and so forth. So we could do a lot more than that, but this just for example's sake, you can kind of let it go. You know, you can really look through there. You know, and it's saying that it's going to reach between 162 to 600 people a day because we have a low budget. So that's one way that you could do it. You could just kind of click around and see what you think, and you know, and you could also you can search around and look at, you know, like us, you know, people who are into dancing, and like I'll click dance, and then I'll start doing suggestions, or I'll do dancing, dance music. You could do live you know, you could do concert. You know, they're interested in concerts. I mean, you can. There's a lot of things you could do. Just start typing, and you'll find a lot of things. Another thing that you could do is you can go into the browse area, and then you can start scanning down, and you can go down into interests, live events. That might be one. You know, concerts, music festivals, you know, music. What kind of music are they into? Dance music. um, pop music, rhythm and blues. Okay, so again, these are I'm just kind of going over this kind of quickly, but it just shows you what's possible here. It's pretty interesting, all the different things that you can do with demographics and interests when it comes to Facebook targeting. So again, we would just hit publish. I'm not going to publish this because for this particular ad, I'm not going to run this.